Kia ora koutou. This is going to be a little video demonstrating a lesser known time save for the Gamecube version of Twilight Princess, which is memory card swapping. So you probably know, if you're familiar with TP, that when save warping, which we do fairly regularly, hold on, where's my memory card? It is faster to save over a blank file. So in a normal run we start with 3 blank files. 2 of them we use because we need to swap back and forth to do byte. The third one we only use because it's a little bit faster to save over blank. Because if you save over an existing file, you have to use the yes no menu. So this is a blank file save warp. No yes no. Of course, once you've used all 3 files, that's kind of it. But something that we do in ILs a lot is when save warping, you can take out that first memory card, put in a fresh one that is blank, and save over another blank file. Say in any percent where there are 8 save warps, I think, if you had 3 memory cards, you could have a fresh save warp for a fresh file rather for every save warp, which is a little bit faster. That can go even further, where if you have an obscene amount of memory cards, you can have a fresh file for every save warp and not need to use the cursor to move up or down on the save warp menu, which saves a bit more time. And that's part of why this is a potentially contentious time save, because the more memory cards you have, the more time save you get from this. But this is possible vanilla, obviously, and there is precedent that's been done in ILs for years. My Gore and Mines RTA PB does it, but it's yet to be used seriously in longer runs. One interesting workaround to having only a few memory cards is, rather than getting more memory cards, you can have a second setup of the game. While my CRT slowly turns itself on, if I only have 3 memory cards, during gameplay, say, I could take out that card from my main setup, place it into the second setup, sorry for the flashing, and during loading zones or whatever, wipe it while doing other stuff here, which means that when I need it again to save warp, I can unplug, put it back in my first setup, and now there's a blank file for me to save warp over. This is basically a techie way of making fewer memory cards become more. One of the other quite good things about this, and some people might not be aware of this, when save warping, obviously you don't wait for the yes no prompt, you save warp and then reset the game. It is a little bit faster. My old notes say like 0.4 seconds, but that's not a precise timing, I just got a ballpark, to, when save warping, reset with the console reset button rather than the controller combo, which is pretty easy to do on the very first save warp because it's on a blank file, but becomes pretty awkward with yes no save warps because you're having to do stuff with your controller and then reach over and press the console, and it's kind of dodgy. So using extra memory cards to save over blank files every time allows you easier access also to console resetting for the save warps, which saves a little bit more time. And I've been saying, saves a bit of time. How much time is that? I made extensive notes on this years and years ago and decided to not implement it. But for any percent, the time save would depend on how many memory cards you had. So if you had a fresh memory card, so 8 for every save warp, it was about 4 seconds that you could save on just the save warps by avoiding moving and avoiding yes and no. Because yes no warping takes about 20 frames, so each save one of those is 20 frames. A move takes about 10 frames, so that's another 10 frames saved for each of those. If you have 5 cards, you can be kind of clever and do like your first set of saves on, say, file 1, do a single move and do the rest of your saves on file 2, and so that only saves it like half a second less for having 3 less memory cards. Of course, with the second setup, if you have it, you can make 3 memory cards behave like 8. This can go a step further, where, say, for Forest Animal Back in Time, when you're doing byte, this is very hard to do, by the way, but if you do the save, quickly unplug your memory card, quickly plug in the next one to select for byte, and then very quickly unplug it and put in the original one back in, which is not easy, then you can save further moves for selecting the correct saves for byte. And that requires 10 memory cards and saves about 4.5 seconds, but that timing was not including the uses of console resetting, which I'm going to assume most people aren't doing because it's dodgy. And back then I counted that up to be optimally could save about 9 seconds in an any percent run, which is not insignificant. This is completely vanilla, however, and there's precedent, but there's not really any precedent in longer runs until recently. I have learned recently though about some neat new tech where you can get third-party memory cards that have partitions within them or something like that, where you can literally physically switch which memory card the console thinks it's using and have like 8 memory cards in one, which is a non-vanilla way to get access to this contentious vanilla tech. That's about all I can think of to demonstrate with this, but now that it's more naturally entering the conversation, I thought I'd just give a little explanation of what it is and how it works. Kia ora.